I just thought of a really great sort of natural intro. Waffle was doing this great Louis Armstrong impression.
Yeah.
Oh, no, like, I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah, can we hear that? Can you
Yeah.
tell us
No,
something?
no.
Oh, come on. Why not?
Come on, bud.
Because it's a setup to something that shouldn't be said on the podcast.
What are you
Don't worry
talking
about that. Just don't say that part on the podcast. Just let us know.
Let's just
It's
hear
the
it. Let's just hear
entire joke.
What are you talking about? Just
I heard a snippet of it. I popped in for a little bit the other day, and I heard that snippet. I don't remember. I mean, okay, I remember some of it, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, let's get into it. So, hey, party people, welcome to the Split Party Podcast. This is going to be 5B that we're recording tonight, and you're going to hear probably about 2 weeks from now. If you didn't know already, which would mean that you're living under a rock, we're now on all social media other than Tumblr. But then again, who is? So we're on Twitter now. We're on Instagram. We are on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe to us. We have a Discord. Come hang out, join the community. And if you would like to, and only if you can afford it and genuinely enjoy our podcast, we are also on Patreon. We've got a few supporters on there whom have been generously funding us with the funds that we're using to pay for some of our art and this giveaway that we're actually gonna talk about right now. So we're giving away a hardcover copy, no matter where you live, we'll ship it to you, of Grim Hollow: The Campaign Guide by Ghostfire Gaming. You guys know, if you've been listening, that we are huge fans of Ghostfire Gaming and everything that they've made. And we just want to spread their books because they really deserve it, and their content is phenomenal. If you love anything grim or dark, Ghostfire is the place to look. But yeah, the deets for how you get into that giveaway are on our Discord. So join our Discord. That link should be in the description of this episode. Thank you, Jimmy. That's pretty much it. Let's get into the recap. Thuunur, 31st of Stivos, 301st year of Dark Reign. Too much happened to recollect. Somewhere in the mess of things, two slaves drowned from their ship, pulled under by fluid hands that took no particular form. Whether they'd be remembered was entirely unknown. They were nobody. All slaves were nobody. When the ship was finally safe, and Gabriel cut himself free from the literal belly of the beast, he blinked to the surface in short distances. His lungs would feel oxygen once more. Had he not been so unique, he likely would have drowned, much like many before him. Much like the druid that drifted to the bottom of the sea inside the serpent's stomach. Now that they were safe, they had time to think. Was Vova to be trusted? Were the slaves keen to stand behind them? Would they make allies of the Northmen? Where was Vasily? As the nature of questions, few would be answered in a quick fashion. At least Corin was safe back in Ulstenburg now. Things were looking up until Rylan's words reached Gabriel. Poor news of Halifax's unfortunate and sudden disappearance. Words that they had to meet the Lich. Or words that they had met the Lich. And though misguided, he was not evil, or so Rylan seemed to believe. So we resume. You guys are... 6 days had passed. A few of you, all of you, messaged me kind of what you would be doing, a general brief sort of description there. And I don't really know if I want to say all of it out loud because I just kind of want it to appear in the RP like organically. But there are some bullet points that I do want to cover. So, Tamacti, you have grown a bond with a few of the slaves. You mentioned that throughout this 6 days that passed, who knows where Vasily has been. The last thing that we did before the time skip was that Vasily said he will be back and crawled out the window of your guys' room.
I'll be back.
But, yeah. But your bond with the slaves continues to grow, and it's apparent by how they greet you and that you've learned some of their names, and that's going well. I just want to point that out for you.
Sweet.
A couple of the names that probably stand out to you are Lanya, which is a female slave of like an average build, Sasha, which is a male slave of average build, and Belfour, which is a male slave of a bit stockier, larger build. definitely could be a fighter if he were not a slave.
Okay.
So that's some stuff for you to know. I also wanted to offer you a chance to select another spell to learn, because you... one of the things that you said you wanted to do during those 6 days was pester Mother Ishka to see if she knew another spell that you could learn, and so I wanted to offer you the chance to select that yourself of a 2nd level or lower.
Oh, all right. I will do that.
Additionally, there have been no sightings of Vasily since the 25th, as I briefly mentioned.
Where the hell did he go?
Rubin, you mentioned that you were going to keep kind of going down to see Vova. Is that true? I mean, you, if I recall correctly, you unshackled his hands. Did you unshackle his feet too?
Yeah, no, he's free. I think we said he could sleep in the room.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We did. We offered him Corin's bunk.
Yeah.
Or he did.
Yeah, so he's been hanging out with you guys, taking a particular liking to Rubin, who has probably been treating him the best and has the least negative history with him.
Well, I don't know.
Right.
He threatened to literally skin him alive or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, he did set him free as well. So.
And you said that you also were going to go down there into the slave quarters and spend time rowing in place of some of the children.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well received. You also wanted to improve your abilities as a sailor. That is something that I think you are feeling more and more confident with, just as Gabriel is.
Yeah, he'd pretty much just like shadow Gabriel and try to do the stuff that he's doing, and because Gabriel would obviously know more, and he doesn't want to go up to some random sailor that doesn't speak his language and try to figure that out. So.
And I DM'd you something just now that you would know, but for sake of us having some secrets between the rest of us, something there. Now coming on to Gabriel, you have learned basic Valakan phrases in some words, but you're not near fluent yet. But that is something that you said you wanted to do, is kind of like talk to people in Valakan aboard the ship for the 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
As well as your sailor abilities have improved further. I think that if somebody were to just call out to ask you at this point to do something on the top of the ship, that you would be able to handle it without having to like get directions or make any rolls or anything. Additionally, you said that you wanted to kind of like go between the merchant ships, if I'm not mistaken, and just kind of, mingle with the people. Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that the people are familiar with you now. You have not only fought the first sea serpent, like you dove down onto it like with your sword as it was like kind of bound in place, but the second one you took care of that one too, and you've been mingling the last 6 days, and it's been well received, and you've even heard a couple people here and there call you the Serpent Slayer or refer to you as the Serpent Slayer.
Hell yeah.
Good.
And as we touched on at the end of last session, Thorgrim had a conversation with you in which he stated that the slaves would be treated better.
On his ship.
At least on his ships, yeah. And so that's kind of like the obvious stuff I wanted to point out to you guys. The rest of it we'll probably just have to kind of find out in roleplay. But I did look over every line that you guys sent me and wrote down a note for myself on every line. And even a couple notes on lines that you guys didn't even mention to me. So don't worry, everything has been considered.
Sounds good.
That being said, so it's the morning of the 31st of Stivos when you guys are finally nearing the shore by Castelor. If you look on the map, I can kind of point out kind of like right here where my second dot is above Castelor on the map. That's where the ships are headed into like this bay. And that's where they're probably going to dock before they start to make their way inland to Castelor, which will be about a 2-day travel.
Oh, did we ever stop at
Solheim?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yikes. Weren't we supposed to?
No, we weren't.
Don't believe so.
No. I originally talked to the werewolf people about going there, but then me and the other werewolf guy just agreed, like, fuck it. Just I'll meet you down south. And he was like, all right.
Oh, all right. That's
Because we probably would not have been well received at Solheim. It would have just ended up with, the Northmen and the werewolves killing each other, so.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have gone well for either side.
Yeah, one wants to free all the slaves, one wants to have all the slaves.
Yeah, so
It's not a great encounter. But yeah, so you guys see land just north by northeast of Castlelore. Finally, after all these days of sailing, I mean, you guys have been sailing for like
Oh, long time.
like eight or 9 days, 10
yeah.
days,
Yeah,
something like that.
4 sessions.
Yeah,
Half
long
the trip
time.
to Gravenstein.
But yeah, so you see land in the distance, and everyone has already been made aware that you guys are going to be docking soon. And when you guys do dock,
and we're raiding.
yeah, and you guys are going to be raiding. It's going to be a 2-day travel inland to Castlelore itself, but that doesn't mean that every single person is going to be going from the ships to Castlelore. In fact, probably about like a majority of the slaves are going to be left on the ships, and kind of like a skeleton crew of every ship, just like a few, like 3 or 4 people, to keep the slaves fed and watered, and also to make sure that the ships are safe and looked after. So if there's 12 ships and each one leaves behind 3 to 4 people, that's like 30 to mid 40 people.
There was ever a time for a slave rebellion, Cobra.
Yeah, I was
Now's
thinking the same thing.
So I'm gonna let you guys, if there's anything that kind of information brings up to you guys that you want to do, i.e., for example, sowing the seeds of a slave rebellion by providing them with weaponry or something, then I'm gonna let you guys handle that. But if there's nothing that you guys would do between now and docking, then we'll probably skip ahead.
I personally have nothing.
Okay.
I have no weaponry to provide.
That's the limiting factor.
Huh. Yeah, I don't think Rubin would be doing anything in particular either. Definitely be on the top deck,
Okay.
watching as they roll into land. But no, he wouldn't be off doing something.
Okay. Then the ships, when they do kind of, dock effectively, they get close enough that they can drop anchor. They don't actually go up to the bank itself and run into it, because that'd be a nightmare to turn back around. So they get close enough to the shore that that they can drop their anchors, and they do. And they kind of lurch to a halt before people just start jumping out and swimming, the kind of maybe from the shore to the 80 feet away where the ships are is only, I don't know, 8-9 feet deep. It's a very gradual sort of very shallow area. And so people are able to swim the 20 or 30 feet before they can walk on shore, or walk on the shallow, and then make it to shore. And so I don't know. Are you guys going first? Are you guys going last? Are you guys not really in a hurry? Are you going together? Are you separate?
As first as I can.
Yeah, I think we're going first.
Definitely gotta try and mitigate damage as much as humanly possible.
Not that. For me, it's more about showing that we're. At least I told everyone we gotta show these people we're leaders, and this is our one raid to prove that.
What do you mean
we're
by
real
that?
ones? Well, what do you mean? These people gotta follow us some way or another, and the only thing they respect seems to be, strength, and not necessarily strength, but just being alpha male. So we gotta be Joe Rogan here. You ever tried DMT?
By the way, hey, is there anything that you would have said back to Rylon in that message, after that message?
Oh yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
Shit.
Now that I think, because there's a word limit, right?
There is a 25 word limit, but you probably wouldn't be familiar with that. So
yeah, no. I mean, not that I'm someone that talks a lot anyway. So, no. But I'll get you back with a message, but it'll just be something along the lines of mourning his loss. It won't be anything critical.
Yeah, just DM me whatever
I'll
you kind of
DM you
and
after.
we'll just kind of say that happened in the moment.
Just so you have it for their next session.
Yeah. Right. But anyways, yeah. So you guys jump off into the water, and the water, it's cold. It's cold. I mean, not only is this a giant body of water, so it's naturally going to be cold, but it's just in Astoya with the darkness, it is cold all year round. In some areas, it even snows just because it's so cold from the darkness. And so the water itself is fair enough to be assumed that it is cold. And so you hop in, and there's like this moment of like gasping in air and like getting your bearings, and then like, okay, now you're swimming back towards the shallows and then onto shore. And this, there's sand there, but it's like, it's just dark sand. And this darkness that's over Astoya blankets out towards the water, and then you can see where it ends just past the shoreline all around you, and you can see in the distance like the horizon where it's bright out to sea. But now you guys are getting back into Astoya where it's dark.
Didn't miss this place.
Yeah. Fuck Astoya.
For real.
Yeah, Rubin just dives over the edge of the ship into the water like everyone else and starts swimming. You know, trying to power
Part
swim.
of the vanguard.
Yeah, trying to power swim his way along with Gabriel, who I assume would be at the front.
I imagine he's just like blinking.
Yeah. Because once again, with armor, I cannot swim, so I have a speed of 0.
Wait, we could probably just ride Covert's disc.
No, because that disc would need to float above hard ground, not
we've
water.
we've already established that it can't hover on water.
Yeah, but how high above ground? Or
not high enough for us to not be underwater.
Ride it in like a submersible, like we're Navy SEALs, but
yeah, we'll just hang on to the edge of it as we're like cruising through the.
Did you decide on what spell you had learned, by the way? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh, which
I
one?
elected on Theft of Vitae.
Theft of Vitae.
Vitae,
Got it. Okay, sounds good.
which is a second
Sangromancy.
level wizard spell, Sangromancy, from none other than the Grim Hollow Player's Guide.
Oh yeah.
From Ghostfire game.
Yeah.
Smiles at the camera.
So I don't mean to sidetrack at all, but does the thing just plummet down to ground height after you summon it?
So the wording is floats 3 feet above the ground, and I did a little bit of reading among various Dungeons and Dragons centric forums,
Scholars.
and sort of the agreed upon, I guess, interpretation of that spell is that water does not count as ground, and thus it like just sinks.
Goes to
through
wherever
water.
the ground
Probably
is
have a
under that water.
submarine, then.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but this, you're gonna drown because
be underwater.
unlike a submarine, there's no oxygen in our lungs for us to stay that
Oh,
long
that's all right.
underwater.
We'll just do water breathing and then
Oh,
go
yeah, that
down to
would
the
be
bottom
nice.
of the ocean.
But we're the Marshall party here, so we're completely fucked.
That's true.
Some magic.
A little bit.
Yeah, I can do a rope trick.
I know a gimmick, and then you know a couple spells.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, moving to the shore,
Yeah.
following the blinking Gabriel, who is quite easily outpacing, I'm sure, everyone.
Probably, yeah. Especially
Yes.
swimming. Actually, these guys are like quick swimmers, probably, but
Yeah, they like dive off their ships, like just like nose dive, getting some distance, like sprinting and then diving off the ship, and probably their chest like grazes the shallows, like the ground, and they come up and they continue swimming and carry that momentum all the way to shore, pretty much. At which point, when you guys do get to shore, Gabriel, you are greeted by a man that you remember speaking to from one of the ships owned by Clan Rune. It was listed in your 6-day things you want to do, was to try and make your way around and speak to the other ships and their leaders if you had the
Yes.
options to do so. And
Correct.
so I kind of wrote down some stuff regarding each of them, and you are greeted by a man from one of the ships of Rune, whom like steps up to you and reaches out a hand to clasp.
yeah, I do the grip, their
Yeah.
handshake, whatever it is, the forearm grip. I don't remember what it is.
He's got kind of like crow's eyes, to the sides of his eyes at his temples, and he's got like tired, sort of brown eyes. He's a little bit of an older man. He's got a graying mop of hair on his head that kind of comes down to his jawline, and he's got a short gray beard, and he's wearing leathers, and he just like holds his gaze with you for a moment.
I do the same. As we shake forearms,
I've been thinking about what you said.
raise an eyebrow. Go on.
I think that you're right. I think that it is time for change.
I give a smile and a slight nod.
Going forward, we've seen what you've done, and all that you've done for the ships in your time among them, and you will have our support. You will be our withered warrior.
I give another firm grasp of the handshake as we're holding there, like like two men in love, and I give him a smile.
It's a weird thing to say.
I know, right?
I fucking
You want me to edit that out?
No, keep it. It's okay, dude. This
Man, I don't want you to edit out.
Yeah, we're
No,
like,
I
we're
was
free.
just joking. We're keeping that in.
I look at him. I give him a nod, shake his hand again. Like, thank you. I myself and my compatriots will appreciate your support.
And we will appreciate you being on our side.
Good. Now it is time to try and convince the others on this raiding trip.
I spoke briefly to Mithra, and they are of the same thoughts. They feel that this is a moment that could be recorded one day in the Lord Edda, and it will be told as the history of our people, a changing point, a corner, a crossroads, so to speak.
Excellent. Once we leave Castellar and sail south, I will need to speak with you and the other leaders that are willing to follow me. We head for down the river, cross this voyage. I am sure most of you will not want to cease the raiding trip, but I must ask for some of you to help us. Otherwise, the raid will be meaningless and everything else we do in this world.
He nods a couple times.
But we can speak of the details later.
If I were you, and he kind of lowers his voice a little bit, brings his head a little bit closer towards you.
I do the same.
I would be mindful of Seer. Seer is they use the slaves for their weaponsmithing in the Grey Yard.
I see. Fairly useful to their economy. I look around, see if there's any seer people or whatever. I don't know.
They're kind of like further down the shore, so the ships are
Okay.
kind of like lined up almost. Rune is kind of one of the ones that's nearby, and then off to the right and off to the left of those ships are like Mithra and Limgri.
Yeah, they're like
and
on
then to the left
Juno
is, like-
Beach or on Omaha. Got it.
Yeah, kind of. And so he's just ducking down and he's telling you that they use the slaves as a
Yeah.
form of their economy.
So a pretty big part of it.
They won't openly admit their distaste for this. They're treacherous, and they will bide their time until they feel they have an opportunity to strike. I will keep an eye over your shoulder.
I nod. Very well. Any of the other clans I should be wary of? Or perhaps some I would have an easier time convincing.
Well, it's likely that Morgang and Limgri will be on the fence for some time. Perhaps you could show them that you're worth following. But as for Volgar, they're big supporters of the prismatic druids, the ones that bring the sacrifices for them, the slaves to be sacrificed.
Another hard one to crack.
Yes, I can't imagine that they will ever want to abandon slavery.
Understood. Thank you for the information.
If you need me, find my people and ask for Felden.
I nod. I will be, once all of this is over, or during this trip as well, I will be with Thorgrim's people, if you need to see me.
He nods once, releases the clasp, and turns towards his people and begins to walk off, waving you over his shoulder.
Alright. I'll, go back to my station and let's get this show on the road. Okay, so, let's see, let me write the two that I need to impress, because you're saying these names, and, like, I don't know how they're written, so, like...
You need to impress one, you need to eradicate the other.
Well, no, two of them need to be eradicated
said,
most likely, and then the other two are like on the fence. So because I just got two pledges right here, two clans.
What he pretty much told you was Rune and Mithra
Yeah, they're
are
cool.
the two that are cool with you. Limgri and Morgang are on the fence, and Volgar and Seer
are gonna
are
be
the
a
two that
problem.
are gonna be a problem.
Morgong's like the Thieves Guild people, right? They're like
Yeah,
black
kind of. They're like the
market-
spy
okay,
and black market network of Kandar.
And then
Gotcha.
Volgar and Seer are like the two. You know, we got the metallurgist there, and we have the fucked up people.
Yeah.
And the two that are on the fence
Limgri, Morgang.
are the ones that record history, right?
Um,
And the ones that run the prison?
Mithra, I believe, is the one with the Lord Edda.
Yeah.
Limgri has the Cold Iron Keep,
You know, they say history is written by the victors.
which is the prison.
So we have the good clan.
It's true.
Now let's get to work.
And Thorgrim is going about like shouting instructions to the merchant people, and you see like Mother Ishka being helped down from the side of the ship, and
Love Mother Ishka,
and
dude.
like brought over on some like one of the mages like freezes the water there, and two of the merchant kind of warriors are like escorting her over, like she's holding onto their elbows or like the crook of their elbows. But you know, she's like the mother figure of everyone, so everyone loves her and they treat her well.
For sure.
I
As they should.
I see
would've
that
been
happening, and I'm gonna hop down onto the ice if I can.
Yeah.
And I'm going to conjure Tincture's floating disc
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
and
guess it's
offer
technically
it.
ground.
and offer it to her.
I think that she would accept the offer.
I nod to her, and then I'll sort of I'll push it along. Like technically it follows me, but I'm gonna push it along
Kind of like a shopping cart.
Yeah,
like
a
kid.
shopping cart or a wheelchair or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Love Mother Ishka, dude. She's the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's done pretty well for you.
She has. We're best friends now.
And Vova makes his way down in whatever means that Rubin did, which was diving off the side of the ship, I imagine.
Yeah, he. I assume he's probably by Gabriel now.
Yeah, so
if that
Vova
counts.
is also not far from you guys.
Okay. Yeah, he just swam his ass to shore. I guess.
Wait, who's Vova? Oh yeah, the wizard. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I remember now.
The wizard we freed, and by we I mean I.
Yeah, there was a couple of steps before that freedom.
And so as everything's kind of being organized and people are getting into kind of like a caravan sort of form, or like a widespread sort of caravan form, everyone is like holding sacks all over their backs that are for the most part, most of them are empty. A few of them have like supplies, but most of them are empty because this is what they're going to be using to carry back anything
Loot.
valuable or anything that they find. Loot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important when you're raiding. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and so it's going to be 2 days away, and you see people already starting to trickle off and walking through like the marshy sort of sand that stretches from the shore pretty much all the way to Castelor. It's just like shitty, damp, muddy, mucky.
Classic Astoyan roads.
Classic Astoyan.
All right.
In fact, I don't even think that there is a road now that I think.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, there's one that goes from Castelor inland, but there's not one that goes from the shoreline to Castelor. So it's just kind of like a free range. And so you guys are going? And,
Hell yeah.
Is there any specific group that you guys stick by, or are you kind of off to yourselves, or it's important?
I'll be in the front, whoever that is.
Okay, so like I said, they're kind of like a widespread sort of caravan. So everyone is like
I'll stay with. I mean, probably
the merchants are by you guys because you came off their ships. But then if you're looking towards inland, right? You have the merchants kind of where you are, and then to the left of you is Rune, Mithra, and Limgri in that order. Rune the closest to you, then Mithra, then Limgri. And to your right, the closest to you is Seer, and then Volgar, and then Morgon.
Okay, so our possible friends are across the two fucked up people.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the Morgon are like the sort of spy people, or is that Limgri again?
Morgon.
Okay, and Limgri are what's their spec? What's their spec tree?
Limgri
their points into
is divine focused.
No. So I'm thinking Covert. Maybe you should go with them, with Limgri, because we're trying to impress these two, you know. So and then Waffle, if you want to go with Morgon.
Limgri are the ones that sacrifice slaves.
No,
that's Vulgar.
That's Vulgar.
Yeah.
I keep getting them all mixed
No,
up.
Limgri are spiritual people, but like not completely fucked, you know. So you know,
Alright,
we could sway them, and considering you're an angel, you know, I don't know, it's your choice.
Yeah, I'll go with them. I'll get my fucking skin peeled off, and you know,
It'd be fine. Okay, Waffle, you want to go with Morgon? I'll stay in the middle of the pack with
Yeah,
Rune and Mithra.
I'm not sure how Rubin will do with Morgan, but that does make the most sense, I suppose.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're the spy people, you know.
Yeah, it was one of the
Sure.
two that they said that were like, yeah, fuck it, they'll follow you.
Just tell him your best friend's a demon. I'm like, real shit? Let's go.
Yeah, bro.
So you're gonna be like I said, you guys are kind of in the middle of these two sides of 3 split. So is it right to assume then that Rubin is gonna be walking
Yeah, he
to
walks
the right
across the
past
line.
Seer, past Volgar, all the way down to Morgon?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, cool.
Honestly, dude, like
They're gonna start some shit.
I'll
But let's
I'll go with Rubin. Or I know you got Vovo with you. Like you got a wizard. Keep him with you.
Talk about this in character. I want to hear it.
All right, we'll do a little huddle in the
Yeah, start from the beginning, I guess.
I wave my hands to gather the men here. The men being only 2 guys.
Yeah. Well, and Boba.
Boys.
I'll make sure that
Boba.
Mother Ishka is like being taken care of, and then unsummon my
I
floating disc.
thought you meant like she's gonna follow you with the disc the whole time.
I mean, I'll ask her. Mother Ishka, what is your plan during this whole foray?
I was planning on walking.
I see.
It's good for me to get exercise after being cooped up on the ship for so long.
Understandable. Do you typically travel with a companion, so to speak, someone to walk beside you?
I walk by everyone.
She gives you a warm smile.
Tamacti would nod and then help her to her feet off of the disc, which I'm assuming she's still sitting on.
Yeah.
And then
She's like
with
dangling her legs off the edge of it.
sort of a little twiddly D of his fingers, he would get rid of the disc and then nod to her and it seems my friend has something to say. I will bid you goodbye for now. And then Tamacti will run off.
Take care.
She just kind of goes off to find somebody to walk near, pretty much, or probably makes her way over to Thorgrim.
Before we huddle, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Is Vasily participating in this raid?
You haven't seen Vasily in a whole 6 days.
Puppet.
He's
I'm really worried
probably-
about what
He's
he
back
might
on the
be
ship
doing.
sacrificing people.
I'm worried about what Speaker Corin taught that fucking ball. Oh, okay. Tamacti would walk up. Well, Gabriel, what is it?
Yes, yeah,
I spoke to the leader of Clan Rune, and he told me that his clan and Mithra would have my back when it comes to whatever may follow, and they may be able to supply us men to go inland towards Talastar when we get there eventually. Now, as for the others, Volga and Seer will be possibly trying to kill me in some way, specifically Seer. Volga simply will not accept the release of slaves since they are using them for sacrifices. Seer is using them for their economy, so both of them have a crucial part in their clan's history and what they do. As for Limgri and Morgang, these are the 2 that are on the fence and could be swayed one way or the other. So I was planning to separate the 3 of us to try and cover as much ground as possible to make a strong, a strong showing to each of the 2 clans that could be convinced, if you 2 would like to do so. If not, I could go to one and, well, the other will have to be left alone. But if you are willing to help me, then I will stay in the middle with Rune and Mitra to lead the vanguard into this place. And then the 2 of you could try your best to sway these 2 clans. There's no need to speak to them or play politics, just show what you can do. As withered warriors, people will look to us.
And Rubin nods his head once, of course.
Do you believe that the danger is exclusively to you, or is it possible they may attempt to take all of our lives?
I believe so far the danger is to me because I have been the one vocal speaking to the leaders to stop the slavery. So they are as far as they know, I am the only one advocating. Now, of course, since you are my allies, they may use you or try to anything for leverage. But specifically, Seer apparently are treacherous. They will bide their time and wait for the perfect moment to strike, which is the least perfect moment for us. But I will watch my back. Nothing to fear. I've lived this way for most of my life now.
Very well.
Unless you had a preference, I was planning, well, the ones that make the most sense if you wanted to go to Tamacti would be Limgri and Morgang for Rubin. And Vova will go with you, Rubin, since, well, Morgang is this way. And I would kind of point to the right side of the column, and the Volgar and the Seer banners on the way there.
Yeah.
So you have to cross the two treacherous clans to get to the ones we want.
I'm sure it won't be an issue.
I figured I would ask you. You're good at getting around unnoticed.
And he nods.
As you wish. And,
Anything else to share? Well, the three of us are here probably for the last time until we get there.
I would like to avoid wanton bloodshed at all cost. I understand that this is for the greater good, but everything can be done humanely.
I agree. And if these people have any shred of honor, I hope they do not kill people that are unarmed. People that are fighting us, well, there's not much we can do about that. If we come across a village or a pack of civilians that have no weapons and they are about to commit something, try your best to stay their hand. I will do my best here.
Very well.
Vova kind of like gently brings a hand up and puts it on your shoulder, Rubin, from behind.
And he turns. He's got his helmet on, so he's just like staring at Vova, who just grabbed his shoulder.
yes.
Will you be participating in the raiding?
And he lifted his shoulder into a shrug. Suppose we will see how events proceed.
I mean, Tamacti said that wanton bloodshed would be best avoided. What do you think?
I agree. If it's not necessary, there's no reason to have it.
He kind of eyes you for a moment, and a kind of expression crosses his face of disbelief, but he nods and resigns the point.
Right.
Rubin nods again back to him.
These people are warriors. They will be seeking fight. It has been a long time since they had one. So like I said, there will be times you may need to intervene for innocents not to get killed. We can't do much about the ones who decide to oppose us. They will need to fall. But we can try to stop a few ones that do not deserve this death. And if they have a problem with you trying to interfere, tell them they can come speak to me. Even though I am certain you can handle them by yourself.
Well, we should get moving then. It looks like we're being left behind.
Alright. I will see you at Castello. And I'll start moving forward towards the front of the pack, like in the middle.
I will see you at Castellar. That is a powerful line. I love that, actually. That's sick.
And at that, Rubin turns and starts off towards the other end of the line.
Mm-hmm. Tamacti will do the same. Time to be UN observers, boys.
Yeah, put the blue helmets on.
Peacekeeping.
Are you guys just... Are you trying to keep an eye out at all as you're making your way over there, Rubin, or are you just kind of...
What do you mean by keep an eye out?
Like, so you're passing by Seer and then Vulgar, and you were just informed that they're probably not the friendliest to you guys right now.
Yeah.
Are you keeping an eye out, or?
I mean, yeah, if someone's like approaching me, I'm definitely
Okay, but other than that, you're
looking
just like
for
being
that.
casual and just.
I mean, yeah, I think trying to sneak around them would be worse than walking by them.
I just want to know like the levels of caution that we're using right now.
I would say, yeah, he's definitely just walking as if, he has been, like on the ships usually,
Okay. What are you guys' passive perceptions?
I never remember. I think it's 15.
Yeah, I believe both of ours are 15.
Then
Yeah,
Waffle
mine's
has, like, a 13, I think.
probably 13, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to know that. Yeah, you start making your way towards Morgang, and all the clans in their kind of wide berth sort of caravan, well, caravan being a loose term in this, are all sort of walking forward along the marshes, and you're walking probably behind them because they've already started moving ahead. You guys are all walking behind them around to your respective areas. So I mean, you see a couple of guys from Seer and a couple of guys from Vulgar, like sharpening weapons and like glaring at you over their shoulder, Rubin, as you're like walking along
Oh,
behind
yeah.
over towards Morgon. But other than that, you probably don't see anything out of the ordinary that should be reason for concern or cause for concern.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't like that.
Strider?
Yep.
What are you doing? So you're like trying to just catch up to everyone right now?
yeah, I'll stay around Thorgrim's, like trading people, and Rune and Mithra, which are the two that are following me so far, are following, quote unquote, but like,
Yeah.
so we'll stay with these people, try to solidify their impression of me.
There are legions.
Gotcha.
Because while I'm here, we need to convince, indirectly convince as many as possible to essentially end their trip early to come kill dead people with
Yeah.
us that have no gold and no loot to get. So, die for nothing, essentially.
Got you. Okay. And so you're probably facing forward the whole time. Then,
Yeah.
Tamacti, you're moving kind of horizontally across to catch up with the others. Like, I imagine it as like horizontally and just like left to right, really, for you guys. And so you're moving left towards Limgree, correct?
Yes.
Can you describe to me like sort of Tamacti's mannerisms while he's walking over there?
He's pretty grim. He knows that whatever takes place here is necessary for the, I suppose, the greater good.
That's right.
But he takes no enjoyment in what he believes will be a slaughter today.
Not today. 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days from now.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Two nights from now.
You know what I mean.
knows?
I know. Teasing.
But yeah, okay. I'm trying to avoid being pointed.
His face is sort of set in kind of a grim line, and he's probably not walking so much horizontally as is kind of diagonally. He's trying to, because I imagine everyone's sort of walking at this point, so he doesn't want to like move to the back of the pack. He's going to move to the front, and he plans on trying to leg anyone that raises a sword at this party, so that they're no longer a reasonable threat. Basically, just going to be trying to shoot everyone he sees in the leg. Any guards, any soldiers, anything like that. He's trying to save as many lives as possible by temporarily incapacitating them. So he's he's in sort of his traveling garb. He's pulled his old worn leather sort of cloak back on. He's got his 2 flintlock pistols and his hip holsters, and he has his rifle in his little back kind of rifle satchel. And he looks determined.
Okay. Then I would say, as you're making your way across, the people of Rune and Mithra are totally on board with the whole like.
Yeah, you're on the good
switching things
side.
up.
One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is kind of odd that it's formed as a line. I just kind of have wantonly tossed it into my
Yeah,
notes.
I'm in the
in,
fucking
like, no
ghetto,
specific
dude.
order, but it turns out that way. So, you're walking diagonally across. And you see people in Rune and Mithra like nod and wave to you as you're making your way over, and then finally you get to Limgree, and you see that these people from Limgree. Sorry, I have major allergies right now, so my throat's like super dry.
I can hear it.
Felt.
It normally lasts for like 3 or 4 days around this time of the year, and then I don't have it at all throughout the rest of the year. But so you're making your way over, and you get to Limgree, and you see that they are just kind of walking, and there are like incense burning. And chimes kind of like swaying side to side off of like chains that are attached to poles that they're carrying. Just overly very religious kind of aesthetic. And then you see a couple prisoners chained up walking along with them.
Uh-huh.
Not time to be a hero, Covert.
Prisoners.
Yeah, not slaves. Prisoners.
I walk over to I guess the procession of prisoners.
They are gruff looking. They are covered in scars and tattoos. And I don't know.
Why are you laughing?
Make a perception for me.
And slave marks.
I'm thinking these are like the criminals. These are the crims. At least I hope they're the crims. Let's see. Perception.
Roadmen.
That is a 19.
A 19. Not only over your shoulder back at the boat do you see Vasily like carving something into the side of one of the ships.
Oh no.
Say psych right now.
But you also see that these men are just covered in these tattoos and burned brands and scars. And one of them you probably recognize as the symbol of Moriel.
Oh,
Who's that? Is that your god?
okay.
Oh no.
God.
See, I thought I was on the wrong side of town, but I'm
Like it's at a glance that you notice it. It's like peeking out from their sort of potato sack, sort of like tunic off their right shoulder blade. And it's just like a man kind of in like the whole Atlas holding up the Earth formation, but he's holding up like a large wheel with sharpened sort of blades coming out from it, or sharpened spokes.
And he's got that branded on his neck.
It's like on his shoulder blade.
That's got to be a painful
It's a
brand,
tattoo.
man. Oh, tattoo. Okay.
Yeah, he's covered in brands and scars and tattoos and stuff like that, but this itself is a tattoo.
Are there like a group of people kind of marching alongside them, guarding them, so to speak?
Yeah, so there's 4 of these prisoners in line, and then there's like two figures flanking each side of the line. So like one on each side of the front and one on each side of the rear.
Okay.
And the one of the ones at the front is just like pulling them along by a rope that's like kind of like a leash on the one in the front.
I'll kind of quicken my pace a little bit to match my footfalls to theirs and move, sort of sidle up next to one of the ones that's flanking the procession.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these prisoners?
He looks at you and takes a moment, like second glance, and realizes that you're one of the foreigners that everyone's been talking about lately, the last couple days, ever since Gabriel started going ship to ship and the sea serpents were slaughtered. But he looks at you and he says, "They're prisoners of the Cold Iron Keep. Nothing for you to concern yourself with. They're dangerous."
What is their purpose for being here, if you don't mind me asking?
"Raiding.
You intend to unleash them?
Yes, like dogs."
So that they may what? Slaughter the innocent?
"And die in the place of us."
Kind of cool.
Do you possess knowledge of their transgressions?
"I do not know."
May you permit me to speak to them?
"I will not know."
Why?
"Because they're prisoners. And I said so."
Shit.
What is your name?
"I will not tell you."
Tamacti would chuckle a little bit. You are as cold as the ice your boats sail upon.
"As cold as the ice I was raised on."
I will see you in the field.
"Sure you will."
And then Tamacti would sort of move away and up towards the front a little bit.
What's gonna be the alpha move here, Covert? Charge with the prisoners?
The alpha move is shoot that guy in the back of the head while he's
No.
looking away.
God damn it.
Don't tell me you wouldn't do the same.
No, I wouldn't. I would kill him, but I'd be looking at him while I do so.
in front of everyone.
Yeah, and that's why I've lived 200 years.
Hey, you're still going strong here.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
I'd like to, as I walk past, I'd like to make a investigation check. We'll say, perhaps, to examine the features of this man. So, as a downcast, obviously we lose sort of our divine benefits, but we retain some of the sort of like we'll say physical features. I'd say, you know, we don't all look the same, but I would imagine that if you looked hard enough, you might be able to pick out certain aspects of the face, or perhaps of the body that to a person that is used to kind of staring at those same features in the mirror might be able to also ascertain.
Yeah, go ahead and make that roll for me.
That's a 4. Womp.
A 4. The wind rustles, and you see another tattoo on his left shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not you're not familiar with it. It doesn't look holy, but it's not entirely familiar. As for the rest of his features, he has a shaved head. He's kind of similar to Gabriel in the sense that his whole body is just like shaved, and he's just covered in these tattoos. And from the tattoos spanning out in all directions are these kind of like almost vine sort of aesthetics of tattoos that are just like linking everything together, like all of his tattoos, just one to the other, like the that episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia that everyone memes with, like the Charlie there and like the whole like red string to string kind of crime scene investigation kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's that one of those boards basically, but it's just like from tattoo to tattoo to tattoo, these vines. And he's got one of Moriel and then one of it's clearly a symbol of worship. You're just not sure which one. And his he's a very muscular sort of build. Maybe a little bit taller than you, probably a little bit taller than the guards that are near him, which are about your size, I'd assume. And he's just kind of wearing this like potato sack, but other than that, nothing kind of seraphine about him that you're like, nothing that you would look at and be like, this is a holy man.
So you said I don't recognize the tattoo on his other shoulder, but what does it look like?
I feel like if I told you, you would look it up in the Grim Hollow Player's Guide.
Scout's honor, I won't.
Okay. It's...
He wasn't a scout. Don't trust him.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
Oh, shit. I take it back.
There's an image of a half-closed eye with 2 drops of blood dripping from it.
Oh, I know who that is.
Well, that sounds vaguely demonic.
I know exactly who that is. Legend.
All right, so on one shoulder, he's got the proverbial angel, and on the other, he's got the proverbial devil. This is me out of character saying this. Tamacti doesn't recognize it. I also don't know exactly what it is, but I can guess. I guess let me ask you a question. Are the sort of symbols of the arch seraphs and the arch demons known to Tamacti?
Yeah, probably. I would say at least half of them, so you can flip a 1d2.
Okay. I mean, I'm not asking if I know this. I'm just asking if, like, he would at least...
No, but it makes sense. It makes sense, definitely.
Okay, 1d2?
Yeah, 1d2.
1.
A 1? You don't know.
Okay. Alrighty. Tamacti would make note of that other tattoo, and then would continue moving to sort of the front of the pack.
Okay. And at the front of the pack, you see, all these... They're wearing leathers, but these ones are kind of like fur cloaks with fur hoods and long fur cloak, or long fur like capes, kind of. And furs around their boots and stuff like that, all sort of like dripping with water still, or like kind of matted with water. Likely they'll dry out eventually, but for now they're probably pretty uncomfortably walking there. But I'm describing these figures because they stand out from the rest of them. The rest of them are all like sort of warriors in leathers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These ones stand out as sort of like religious heads, as they're holding these tall poles that are dangling like chimes from them. And by chimes, I mean not like the straight sort of cylindrical chimes. I mean, sorry, censers is a better word for it. It's like these censers are just hanging from them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So they're censer bearers.
Okay. I don't really have anything further to do once I kind of get to the front of the group, unless something kind of presents itself to me.
I don't think really anything does.
All right.
People seem a little bit standoffish from time to time about you. In fact, yeah. Coming back over to Gabriel. Gabriel, now the head of the merchants. Is there anything specific that Gabriel does? You guys can... It can be as simple as, like, I walk in silence. I have nothing really to add to these people, or, like, nothing that I'm really looking for, and we can just kind of move along, because we still do have a few days to catch up with the A side of the split.
Well, No, I do not really have much to, just kind of, I'm walking up and like, if someone comes talk to me, whatever, yeah, I won't tell them to fuck off, but I don't have a conversation to strike. It's time to mentally prepare to kill a bunch of people that don't deserve it.
Yeah, true. And then, so what about Rubin?
Yeah,
Rubin
I
finally
mean-
makes his way past Seer and Volgar and over to Morgon.
Yeah, he again goes to the sort of front of the Morgan group, just walks through them. He probably would have walked through a bit of Vulgar too, but staying a little bit clear of Seer over there. Little fucking rats. In similar vein, Ruben's not an extremely talkative person. And even if he did talk to anyone, it'd probably be Vova.
Yeah, Fova.
Okay. That'd probably be Vova. Since he's up there with him, probably ask him stuff, Like, obviously, he said he came here to stop the raiding, but, now he's with them.
Now he's knee deep in it.
Yeah, it's, he seems, as...
Okay, let's RP that conversation. I want to hear it, actually, because I have stuff to say in that.
Sure. As they reach the front, assuming they're unimpeded, and now just kind of walking alongside, if not a little bit ahead of some of the Morgon guys. Rubin turns to look at Vova, who's beside him.
Yeah, and Vova's in like his sort of blue, like it's a rich blue robe that he's wearing, with like a silver sort of trim along the collar and down the center, and like pinstripes down the arms. And the robe is kind of baggy. It's not like form fitting or anything like that.
Originally, when you came here, you said you came to stop the raids. And now, we're walking alongside a large raiding party. Seems ironic.
This is not the place to talk of this.
He shrugs his shoulders a little bit.
I could answer you. I could, but look who we're surrounded by.
And he kind of like looks over his left shoulder and brings his
I
gaze
assume
around. And
no one's
and, like,
really close, right? Like within
well,
Oh.
As a matter of fact,
he
No.
like looks over his left shoulder. So like you're standing to his left, he's standing to your right, kind of.
Okay, I didn't realize people were within earshot. I thought we were a little bit ahead.
I mean, you could try and get really ahead if you wanted to before this conversation happens.
A little bit more, I think. Yeah, to where it's like, everyone's there's quite a few people walking. There's probably some clanking of shit. Be
Okay.
hard to hear over, someone just talking and at low tone.
Okay, then in that case, he says something different.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't planning on like walking up next to one of the Morgon guys. So yeah, tell me your deepest.
Yeah, like
darkest
the clan that's focused on spying, right?
Yeah,
And you're just like, yeah, tell me everything that these people don't want to hear.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So instead he responds,
Yes, you're right. I came here with the purpose of stopping the raiding. And I am still here for the purpose of stopping the raiding.
and he locks eyes with you.
And Ruben's not like looking at him or anything. He's just looking ahead as they're walking.
Something tells me that there will not be a raid at Castelar.
Well, maybe that's for better or for worse.
I would think for the worse.
That's sick.
Guys, I don't want to go to
I don't
Castelar
like the reigns of
No,
this
is the chance. This is the chance to show these people what we're really facing. I bet it's all gonna be undead people or some really fucked up, But we're gonna have to man up here, guys. Come on.
Then, in a way, it's a bit of a relief. Not as much hard choices to make.
No, I don't know why, it doesn't feel right. I think that there will be harder choices to make for you.
At that, his head does turn a little bit, and looks at him, and he turns back, and it's probably not going to talk more on that. I don't know. He doesn't like that this man's foreshadowing.
This guy's like a machine into the future. Use it.
I love being a game master.
I wouldn't say he's intimidated because that's not really
Rubin style, but he's
Yeah.
definitely like I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't like
I
that.
speak through Rubin. I think control his body. Tell me more, dude. What else is going?
I mean, he just said he had a hunch. I don't think this dude's like fucking gonna pull up a vision. He's gonna be like, "See through my eyes," grabs my forehead.
That'd be sick.
So you've said you don't have much else to say or add?
It's not that there's not much else to say or add, because of course there's plenty. Like how the fuck do you know this? Like, what is gonna go wrong? But I don't think Ruben's gonna say any of that. He just falls back into silence as they walk.
Got it. This is gonna be so sick.
Right?
Jogging up from behind you and Vova, you're two ahead of the group still. And he wasn't the stealthiest about it. I made a roll, but he catches up to you and you hear him coming. There's a man dressed in a sort of darker steel breastplate, and underneath that he has just leathers. It's kind of the common theme for the people from the north is like leathers, furs, some chain, some helmets, stuff like that, but like mostly leathers and furs. And this man comes up in like dark gray, blackish sort of fur over his shoulders and down his back, like to his lower back, not like a full cloak or anything like that. And then he's got sort of like a leather hood up and leather sleeves and leather tunic and pants, other than the steel breastplate.
And as someone's sprinting up behind, Rubin turns to look over his shoulder.
He doesn't have a weapon in his hand, don't worry.
And noticing the man isn't like running up to fucking stab him, he looks back to the front and is still walking, assuming that if this guy wanted to say something, he's about to.
He pauses there for a moment.
Like he stops moving, or?
You're Rubin, right?
Yes.
His accent is not from the north.
Yes, and you are. And he looks back again. As they're walking, I assume, and makes a little space for the man to like maybe come up beside them instead of just being in the back.
I'm a scout from Summerhelm. I'm with Morgong. I'm moving up ahead, but I wanted to have a word with you before I did.
Of course. You don't sound like you're a native.
I'm not. I'm from Summerhelm. My parents were from Nordenland.
Fuck is Summerhelm? Oh, I see. I don't think Rubin knows where that is, though. And,
Anyways, I spent a lot of time in Nordenland, and so I wanted to... There's sort of a connection that I feel with people from the Burok Empire, which I hear that you're from. In fact, I am well aware that you're from there. All of Morgong is aware.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes, I'm from Olstenburg.
We hear everything. Everything that goes on the ships. There are a couple of us everywhere. And I couldn't help but notice your faith.
He nods his head again.
You've been speaking to a couple of the slaves about it, am I correct?
Anyone who will listen.
Am I right to say that a couple of them are interested in the faith?
And he nods his head.
And you guys are like sloshing along. It's dark. People are like... The light on the horizon is beginning to be not powerful enough for it to really illuminate everything around you guys. So people are starting to spark up torches and stuff like that behind you and over at the other clans. And this man continues.
I would be interested in the faith, if you would have me.
And he slows his pace
Ooh.
just a little bit.
No, keep the pace. And he puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of like forces you forward still. Not like a shove or anything like that, but like a no, this is not the time kind of gesture.
Morgong hears and knows everything. They do not need to know this conversation.
I see. Did not know it was against your clan's wishes. But, of course, find me another time.
Right. Perhaps at the camp tonight.
And he nods once.
Good. I have to be off now.
And he nods to you once and nods once to Vova and then resumes his jog further up ahead past the party to scout, as he said that he was a scout.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. He's not a scout.
Okay. Weird.
He's gonna infiltrate our little group.
Yeah, dude, he's trying to find
You know,
out
they
my
got someone
secrets.
from your own country to come spy on you. Like, come on, bro, this is basic as fuck.
Anyways, so is there anything else that you guys kind of do throughout now to till camp time? Because Covert has already said that he's not really got much to do, and Gabriel.
Nope, I'm all good. Other than watch my back for a possible knife.
Okay, well, I don't think there'll be any amongst the merchants.
Excellent.
thankfully.
that's good. I mean, you know, you don't know. Maybe one
somebody
of them,
can make their way over.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, they made their way to the other clans. No one said anything.
True.
So, you know, turning around at some point, or, you know, walking backwards for a moment and looking at the whole of the Morgon gang, you know, is there anything that stands out amongst them? Any particular figures that are
Ooh, make a perception.
okay?
See, because the thing is, I don't want to outright tell you guys everything that is around you.
A
And so this is what I was kind of prodding at earlier. You
yeah, I don't want to miss them like carting along a dragon or some shit.
no, so they are the spies, and they are kind of black market-esque, right?
Mhm.
Amidst them, you catch the faint glowing or glimmer of a couple magical items. Probably nothing that would be crazy or
Yeah, I could expect them to have some magic.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they also have with them a figure that's like fully wrapped in cloak, right? Hood up, gloves on, boots on. Not a single bit of skin other than their face is visible, and you see that their face kind of has like a shimmering sort of sky-like aesthetic to it, almost like a galaxy, like a purple sort of galaxy, where there are like pocks of stars and stuff like that, and their eyes are just black, like pitch black.
Huh. That is definitely strange. Does it look like, for clarification, the sort of religious figure at Fallowheart, that kind of deal, or?
No, so the religious
Okay.
figure at Fallowheart, his face was like smoke. This one is like you can see all the
Okay.
features, like all the lines of his jaw, his cheekbones, all that stuff. But it's like he's made of space, kind of.
Oh, that's cool. Shit, I want to know who that is. Time to find out tonight.
Okay.
Rubin turns back around, and he's not gonna just approach in the middle of their walk, and continue walking alongside Vova.
And so if you guys don't do anything else, then that is worth us kind of going on about, then the group kind of travels throughout all of the 31st of Stivos and sets up camp. You guys have traveled about 25 miles. It's been a pretty quick pace. Everyone in the north is eager, and they're high energy, very alert, focused, looking around. Because it's fair to assume that Castelor, being so close to the north, this raiding it's probably not the first time that they would have been raided if this raid happens, and so they probably have like forward sort of watch positions set up like outside of Castelor
To
a few
alert
miles.
the town.
Yeah. And so people are like, the Valakan clans that are with you right now are very high attention.
Got it.
But camp gets set up, and everyone is kind of like in their own sort of clans, with tents just arrayed out, and you guys are each offered tents. I would say each of you, because two of you are in kind of like the middle ground sort of clans. So Gabriel is clearly offered a tent by the merchants, and Limgri offers Tamacti a tent, and Rubin is offered a tent by Morgong.
Oh, cool. Probably got like KGB spy devices in it.
And they have like
It's
little
wired.
cooking spots up, right? Where people are all kind of gathering around and cooking up like leftover meat from the serpents and rations and stuff like that. And so if that's something that you want to join and talk around, then yeah, you can. Or you can just be like, hey, I conk out, I go to bed. Whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah, eating would be nice. Would there be a chance to see any of the other, Gabriel or Tamacti during like this period of eating, or is it
You can make your way over to them. It's not like you're stuck where you are.
okay? I think I'd like like to make my way over to whoever's camp would be closest.
Me, because I'm in the middle of both of you.
Yeah.
So then Gabriel.
Yeah, and
Which,
it takes
which
a couple
means
minutes for you to get there.
probably
and Volga's coming
walking
with
through
you.
Vulgar and
The
Spear,
line is merchants in the middle. Then you have Rune and Mithra on the left, and then Covert's a gang, Lim whatever on the left, like far left side.
It's
And then
like
your side is Vulgar, Seer, and then Morgong.
Yeah,
And you're all the way at the end.
As I make my way back, I lock my doors and roll up my windows. And
Yeah, for real. Check for bugs too.
So you could walk around the tents, or you could walk through them. You said you're walking through them.
yeah, but I'm gonna get
It's
food
time for an
first.
alpha move.
I'm gonna get
Walk
food
through.
first. And yeah, I'm definitely walking through. Right,
That's my man right there.
I'm not pulling a bitch.
That's
walking
my
around.
man.
Okay, then you make your way to the middle, and nobody seems to attack you or anything like that. People give you kind of dirty looks. They're not the biggest fans of you guys, as we've established so far. And so you make your way to the merchant kind of clans, and
Yeah.
it's not to say like everyone is just sour and grim. Like all the clans, like Seer and Vulgar, they're still having like laughter around fire and stuff like that. They're just not fans of you guys. You know?
Yeah, they're like Slytherin and Harry Potter, obviously evil and always just fucking miserable.
Grim, yeah.
I mean, whoever stares at Rubin just stares right fucking back as he's walking by them.
And it's just a helmet.
He just eyes them down and just keeps going, like not stopping.
Yeah, got it.
And
At the campfire where the merchants are cooking, there's Thorgrim, there is Mother Ishka, she's cooking.
The
of
whole
course.
gang is here.
Yeah, the whole gang is there, and so if Gabriel is also there, then that's
I'll be there with them, yeah.
okay.
They're my people at this point.
That's what you come into, Rubin. Both
Then
you and
yes.
Vova.
Rubin and Vova step up with food. And Rubin takes a moment to look around the campfire before
Give a
quickly
wave.
spotting Gabriel as he waves and saunters over to sit beside him.
And before we go through this, just in case, I do want to see what Tamacti is doing.
Yeah,
This camp stuff is all getting set up, and does he make his way back? Does he try and go see that prisoner? What's he doing?
Tamacti is going to, if they let him, sort of try and ingrain himself into the campfire life of this clan. So he wants to just sort of like take a seat by one of the fires and try and get into the conversation.
Okay, they're cooking and people are very respectful, and it's only like, I mean, the prisoners got to eat too. So like you see, as you're kind of in line, maybe like 10 people back behind you is where the line of prisoners starts, and they're being like kind of shuffled through the line too, and everyone is very respectful. It's a very kind of the closest thing I can think of it is like church, when everyone is going up to get like their wine and their little bread or sorry, I don't mean
communion.
to be offensive. I just don't know what it is.
Communion.
Yeah, communion. So everyone's quiet and they're in line, and they are respectful of the pacing of things, and they're taking their offering and they're thanking and saying small prayers to their divines that they worship. And you notice while you're in line, one of the people that is doubling back and walking across the like parallel with the line to get back to a seat by the fire, spits on the prisoner that has those 2 tattoos.
It's not one of the people that I recognize, right?
No.
Am I sort of like I'll say, instead of asking if I have, I'll just say, while I'm waiting in line, I'd like to have tried to have like struck up sort of casual conversation with the people sort of in line around me, like introduce myself, like ask them what their names are, try to sort of like be friendly, be jovial.
Yeah.
It's a happy time. We're going raiding. It's a happy time.
It is a happy time. And one of them that you strike up conversation with, probably the one like closest to you, he his name is Tabe, and he actually Tabe. He's kind of like a younger sort of fellow, maybe late 20s, early 30s, something like that. And he asks you, excuse me, what faith are you part of?
That is a question, Tabe, that I have asked myself quite a lot recently. You see, Tamacti would sort of swallow hardly. Well, I was punished, shall we say, for believing in what I thought was my faith steadfastly. And after I was punished, I have had much time to consider what it is faith really means to me. So to answer your question, truthfully, I'm not quite sure. What faith is it that you worship, if you don't mind me asking? I was going to ask later when we were all around the fire there. I'm quite curious. I profess to being ignorant of the religious aspects of your people.
Well, our people, as you put it, we follow a host of the faiths. Some of us follow Solima, others follow Aphelion and Michaelis. I, personally, I follow Belith.
Oh, what is it about Belith that you feel strikes a chord in your heart?
He starts to chuckle. I'm joking. I don't follow Belith.
you had me going there.
Yeah, I wanted to see your expression as a response of it.
Mhm.
No, I actually follow Aphelion myself.
Do you now?
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
It's one that you don't have to answer, and I hope that, well, my asking it won't make this conversation uncomfortable.
I hope that I could try to answer it.
That prisoner over there, the one that was just spit on, and Tamacti would sort of point across to him.
Yes, Okay, I can see where this is going. What would you like to know?
I noticed some tattoos on him. I am curious of his origins, if you will allow me that curiosity.
Yes. You and many that have come to see him throughout the raiding over the years. He has been through as many as I have. He kind of, his brows furrow and pursed down, and very disapproving look crosses his face. And he says, he is a man that has followed many faiths and spit on all of them, so to speak. He has followed Malakir. He has followed Moriel, Zabriel, Belith, Vanin. He has bounced between the faiths. And each one that he has gained favor from, he has cast aside. Naturally, this wouldn't be a cause for jailing for many people, but it is a great sign of disrespect to us, especially because he was once one of us.
I see. That would explain your comrade's trepidation in answering my question. I imagine, and forgive me if this is going too far, but you must bring at least some amount of shame upon your people, having disrespected the faith so heavily in being one of your own.
He does, and it's a sore spot for many of us to converse of.
I see. Thank you, Tabe, for answering my question.
But we are not monsters. You must see. It is natural of all Northmen to want to raid, and it is some comfort that we can give him.
Tabe, I have fought monsters many times. You all are not monsters. You have simply developed a culture that strikes against others, other cultures, so to speak. That is not monstrosity. It is a simple fact of humanity's evolution on this plane.
I'm sorry, what did you say that your name was?
My name is Tamacti.
Tamacti, would you like to sit next to me at the fire?
I would like that very much.
He gestures ahead of you. Like, the line has been slowly moving as you guys have been talking, and he gestures ahead of you. It's now your turn in line to grab your food.
Yes, sir, Comer. That's my boy, man.
Yeah, let me snag that
Damn.
serpent meat.
See, that's why you didn't shoot the other guy in the back of the head.
Yeah, for real.
There's always a bit more to the story.
I'm still going to, best believe.
It's your secret Oni tasking.
No, he's just too prideful to go back on his word.
True.
It's true.
So there's just kind of like a big beefy sort of host of a chef there, and he's got kind of a fur cap on his hat on his head, no like hood or anything like that, but like a fur cap, much like a Ushanka, like turned up, with the ear flaps and tied up at the top, and he holds out a hearty, large bowl of stew, probably about the size of your head.
Damn. I take it, and with sort of a sly grin, I say, "Now Mother Ishka tells me you're cooking I should watch out for. You're not trying to poison me here, are you?"
He gives you the most serious expression that he could possibly muster.
Damn.
Oh no.
Doesn't say a single word and simply gestures for you to keep moving.
I sort of suck on my teeth and look at Tabe.
Trying a little joke here.
Tabe accepts his food and gives like a courteous nod to the chef, and the chef like gestures him onwards too, and Tabe walks alongside you towards the fire.
Not a practical joker, I see.
He's a very serious man, yes. But he has a big heart. Don't worry. Why else would he cook for all of us?
That's true.
And so Tabe leads you over to the fire. And the fire, this one, like in the small kind of camp that the merchants were originally at, that you guys met Tamacti at, that was a small little fire, right? This is a big one. It's like a
Bonfire, right?
It's not like a bonfire because that'd be too tall, but it's like a few little pockets of fires around, in like a cluster, like one here, one maybe 15 feet away, one maybe 10 feet away, like in a triangle sort of, and like everyone's kind of like outlining that structure. And so people are like sitting down, like cross-legged. Some of them are like sitting on small stumps that from logs that they were carrying with them. That'll be future firewood down the line, stuff like that. And Tabe like sits down like on the ground and takes off a couple of his furs to like warm them by the fire, shuffling, like tossing them out a little bit closer to the fire than he is sitting down.
Okay. Tamacti will sit down next to him.
Tell me then. I can draw, and I mean this in the best ways, some similarities between you and our prisoner. Not really sure what faith to follow, or which one you would like to seek.
I believe that while I can understand you drawing similarities, as this man has been described to me, a man that seeks out faith for his own benefit, I believe I am a man that seeks out faith, at least now, for the benefit of others.
Right. Many of us tell ourselves that. But our faith is still ours.
This is true, but, well, I'm beginning to suspect that service to others and for others can, well, empower oneself as well.
Right. So then, in the past, whom have you followed?
Tamacti would sigh.
Couple people.
Tabe, I will be honest with you, as you have been honest with me. I was, for some 200 years, a seraph of Ulmir and then Imperius.
He kind of like bows his head a little bit as he speaks to you, and like
I look him
blushes a little
seriously,
bit.
sort of straight in the face.
Yeah, he blushes a little bit. He dips his head down, mumbles some sort of prayer underneath his breath.
Oh, no. Please.
But you were a seraph.
I am a man now.
What was it like?
It was...
Where did you go? Did you have wings?
I did.
Did you need to eat? Did you need to drink? Did you sleep? Did you
the-
fight the demons? The fiends?
Tamacti.
Fanboy.
Yeah.
Sick. I told you it was a good place for you to go.
I did, yes. Yes, I spent centuries fighting them, it felt like, and for a while that is really all I did.
Do you regret it?
Regret what?
All that you did in that time? Would you change any of it?
The only thing that I regret is that I was so single-minded in my goals. And in my single-mindedness, I lost sight of the growing changes around me until they were too late for me to do anything but be swept up in.
That's amazing.
He kind of like his eyes drift off as he's thinking.
Do you think that I would make a good seraph one day?
Is that what you wish?
In truth, and he kind of like looks around, I'm not a big fan of the raids. It's not the way of a Phalian to spread war, but it is to spread peace.
Let me tell you this. When I was granted ascension, I was a young man, a few years older than you perhaps, fighting in a bloody border skirmish with an encroaching empire for the rights and freedoms of what has become an encroaching empire in its own right. Tamacti would sort of chuckle to himself. I did not spend my days hoping or attempting to reach the eyes of the gods, or I suppose now the Archseraphy. And I don't recommend that you do that either, because that may sway your choices, sway your actions. We live our lives to try and benefit the gods, to prove ourselves in the eyes of the gods. But I believe the gods and the seraphs are far more impressed by those that live their lives for themselves and for others, while keeping in mind the guiding principles of the arches, of the Archseraphy and the gods. Now, this is not to say that perhaps one day you would not make a fine seraph, but I would caution you from living your life with that goal in mind.
I have followed a Phalian for some time, and I've tried to ask this, and I've never received an answer, so perhaps you could help me. But if I'm to live a life of my faith for others and for my divine, then is it possible for war to bring peace? And is that what a Phalian wants from me?
Wow. What a question.
Come on, wise old man. You're the one that's a couple fucking centuries here. You should have a couple answers.
Can war bring peace? Is it possible? Yes, I believe it is. Is it likely in most outcomes? Unfortunately not. Let me ask you this. The Withered Warrior. Eventually, he brought peace to the clans, uniting them.
Yes, under one banner.
But what happened when he was gone? The infighting began again, no?
Yes.
Peace is something that must be safeguarded. Always. Humanity must be protected. Always. War is a consequence of blindness and laziness. You understand?
Yes.
It is an equalizer when the scales begin to tip too heavily to one side or the other. Merely a tool to reach that solution. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Tamacti would start trying to eat some of his soup before it gets cold.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while you've been like talking, Tabe has also been doing the same thing. He's been like taking spoonful after spoonful. Like whenever there's a part that you're talking, he's not. So, do you think you're gonna stay at that fire for the night?
I'll ask him if he's like got any friends or anything that I might like to meet. You know, see if I can, sort of meet the common folk of the clan, as it were.
I'd say he probably does, but I think that we'll keep that shorthand.
Yeah, I've had enough role play. To be
That's
clear,
not something we say.
To be clear, that monologue is what I want you to cut Waffle's requested line into, if you would be so kind.
Interesting. So yeah, we'll come away from you then and come over to Rubin, who just arrived at the fire with not like in the same time frame, but like you've just arrived at the fire with that Gabriel and Sorgrim are at, and Mother Ishka is over there serving like soup, and so it's reasonable that you probably grab some and sit down at the fire, right?
Oh, I took some from Morgan.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, before I left.
You got given his food over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I just walked through the camp holding food. Like,
Okay.
Boba
Boba probably grabbed some too there then. Sorry, I missed that part.
Didn't want to deny. I want to be a good guest. I'm not gonna deny their food.
Okay, then yeah. So you make your way over then.
Yeah, and after seeing Gabriel wave Rubin shifts around the side and sets himself down, and for a moment, takes off his helmet, eats a little.
Yeah, I
And
look at
then-
you. I'm waiting for you to speak, kind of.
Yeah, and then he looks over.
There is something that may be important for you to hear.
Was wondering why you came back so early.
Yeah, he motions to Vova.
I nod for Vova to come over. If he's looking in our direction, that is.
Lobo's already over there.
He's like
sit
sitting.
down with you.
Okay.
somewhere.
I'll look to Vova then. And what would that be?
You want me to tell him what I told you?
Yes,
Why not just tell him yourself?
because it's your word, not mine. Besides, you'll have questions.
I don't think that this is the place to speak of it at the fire. Don't you agree? At least, it's too public.
I look around. I mean, there's obviously others at the campfire, but I assume most people are like in their own conversations, like, or everyone is eating in complete silence.
Everyone's in complete silence, staring at you. Everyone's kind of in their small conversation.
Yeah, I figured as much. So I'll kind of shuffle over a bit closer and like lean in a bit. This is as best we are going to get. Here there are conversations around. If we go out in the middle of the woods, then there's complete silence. Whoever hears, hears.
And don't you think that it's possible that perhaps Morgan could be listening to us right now, Rubin?
Probably are. I do not care.
It's sensitive information.
I look around. Can I do a perception check?
You can.
If I spot any spies.
You can, absolutely.
Can
make a
I join
perception
him in that?
check. Yeah, I'd say that if you're both looking, then yeah.
Okay, as in we both roll perceptions, or he gets advantage?
Advantage.
Hell yeah!
All right, 20.
A 20.
Yeah.
Do you, like, out of curiosity, I'm not trying to
Right.
be pointed, but do
Uh-huh.
you have anything that you would add to that, like from your background or anything?
No, I do not. I do not.
I also don't, besides using Hunter's Sense, but I don't think it helps.
Okay. Then with a 20, nothing stands out.
Well, either we're good or they're really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess we're good. I lean in close to the fire, close to Boba. Then speak to me in a low tone. There is no one close to us. And if someone has the talent to hear what you are saying despite the distance, then I suppose fair game.
Right then. Don't call it divination, because that's not what it is. But I've got a feeling that this raid will not happen. That I don't know what it is.
Will we be stopped?
I don't know the specifics. I'm afraid for what awaits us in Castelor. Whether they're more prepared than we think they are, or something has happened there, or things have changed. I don't know what to expect, but something doesn't feel right.
I nod. I see. Well, if something did happen, it would only strengthen our case with these people.
How
So well, if something happened and it is linked in any way, shape, or form to what is happening with the Lich and his armies, then perhaps it will wake some of them here as to the threat we face. Nothing like a bit of misery and tragedy to shake the hearts of men awake.
I suppose that's fair.
So if it is that, then, well, there is some hope in the misfortune that befell Castelor.
Yes.
If they are more prepared than we are to expect, we will survive, I assume, lose some. But we will try to convince most of them to back away. And if things have changed, then I suppose we will just have to wait and see, because we cannot prepare for that. Since change could be, well, one of a million things.
Okay.
But I appreciate your insight and divination. I do like air quotes for him. Do you get these feelings often?
Sometimes. And they're often right.
Good to know. Have you had other than this one, as of late?
As of late, no.
Well, if you do get more, feel free to share them with any of us. Some
I will.
foresight to the future is always appreciated.
I will.
Good, thank you. Anything else, Rubin? And I start eating my own food.
And he shakes his head.
If you see Tamacti, feel free to pass this on.
I will. How are the people you're with?
Hmm,
Pleasant? I assume not.
not anything that I can't handle.
Fair enough. The Volga and the Sea are giving you any trouble.
And he shakes his head. Only stays.
You expected. They know you are with me, and I've been speaking too much, apparently.
Speaking of which, I should probably get back.
Seems Tamacti has stayed there all day. Hopefully he is making some progress. Do try to fraternize as best you can tonight, or try to speak with someone of import in the other camp. One of their leaders, or one of their leading figures at least. Need to
wouldn't-
start getting my name out there.
Wouldn't say that's my strong suit, but I will do
I
my
know
best.
it is not. But these times have changed all of us. It is not my strength either.
Oh, he nods once. There was one figure I noticed that looked important.
Good. Well, go speak to them, and if there's something else, feel free to come see me again. Otherwise, well, we will see what awaits us in Castello, good or bad.
And one last nod is given, and Rubin slurps a bit more of his soup or broth or whatever Morgan
I finished mine too.
was serving, and then slips on his helmet to stand up.
I'm gonna tap on the shoulder and a nod. See you later, bro.
See you, brother. And with one last nod, he heads out back through Seer and Vulgar to Morgan.
I assume Vova goes with him. I hand him off a wave as he walks off with Rubin. Unless he doesn't, he stays with me. And he wants
he
to
might.
walk
Vova does go with Rubin.
Okay.
He doesn't want to stay with you.
Why not, man?
Dude, what? They're like cool. Come on.
Man, like, yeah, I started off on the wrong foot. You know, like,
Well, technically the wrong
on the wrong
hand.
hand, but like, it's fixable.
Wrong
Alright,
hand.
So anyway then. Yeah, you make your way over back to Morgon. And Gabriel stays there and Gabriel, you're pretty much like eating and then conking out, I would assume, right?
Yeah, not really much to do here at the camp. You know, a little bit of a chit chat with like Grimm and Mother Ishka, but nothing like that warrants any.
Yeah, shorthand.
Just small talk.
Yeah. And then so Rubin and Vova make their way back to Morgon. And do you think you're gonna sleep in the same tent as Vova?
I mean, did they give us two different tents, or is it
Yeah.
just one?
Like the option's there if you want.
Yeah, you probably would.
Sleep in the same
two.
tent.
Yeah, two are better than one. Can't pick someone off easily, especially being on the shady side.
Okay. Then you go to sleep unless you do anything else.
I think.
You drink your flask probably.
Yeah, before that happens, was that scout guy around?
No, he was not.
Okay, and I didn't notice the space figure at all.
That's right, you didn't.
Then yeah, I guess Rubin's gonna go to bed, but not before casting alarm,
Oh, okay.
because I don't want anyone fucking coming up. It said no larger than 20-foot cube, so if anyone like comes up to the tent, it'll activate, like all around it. So if someone tries to like cut a hole through like one of the sides and sneak in or some shit,
Mhm.
it'll activate.
Got you.
And yeah, he casts that after obviously Vova's already inside and moves and sets himself down and tries to get some sleep after chugging some water. I guess he offers it over to him as well if he wants. So
I think that Vova would actually probably accept the offer.
okay, then I will subtract 2 from my inventory. Sleep powder -2. My reserves are running low.
Ooh, how low?
Not that low. I still have 20.
Okay. So morning comes around, or actually, morning doesn't come around yet.
Oh.
Normally, you don't have dreams when you drink this drink, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, usually it's dreamless.
You have a dream tonight,
Ah,
and you are
I don't like that.
you see bodies stacked probably as wide as maybe like 40, 50 feet wide and stacked like 30 feet tall bodies.
That's a lot of corpses.
It is.
Oh,
It is a lot of corpses. And I don't want to give away too much. I gotta stop myself.
well, now you can't.
You dream of these bodies, and blood is like pooled up to your ankle. You can't see anything around you. It's like pitch black other than this just mound of bodies in front of you. And you...
If it's just me and the amount of bodies, yeah, Rubin's gonna approach. Try and see whose bodies these are. If there's anyone that looks familiar. If it's just a pile of bodies.
As you step forward to the bodies, you can make an insight or an investigation or perception, any of the three.
Insight, investigation, or perception. Stand by. I'm gonna make an insight
Uh-huh.
because I have a +6, 14.
Okay.
Also, I have a feature that says when investigating a pile of bodies, I get professional dice. So.
You see that these bodies, they're wearing clothes that you grew up around in Ulstenburg. And they're wearing the colors of Ulstenburg. Like some of them are like guards and stuff like that. And a hand rests on your shoulder.
And of course, Rubin immediately turns to see who's resting their hand on his shoulder or what.
You do not see anything as you turn, but the feeling of the hand is still there, and you hear a voice, and it says, "I tried to control myself. I don't know what came over me." It's Speaker Corin.
Oh, shit. Father. He, replies, "Can you hear me?"
Something is wrong, Rubin. Something is very wrong.
And as he says that, morning strikes you and you wake up.
And as he's like starting to feel his eyes, peel open, he yells, "Wait!" and realizes that now he just yelled that in front of, like, he's no longer in the dream. He just sits up, reaches out towards the air, and yells that in front of Vova.
Yeah, and Vova's like sitting up already, and he's watching you. You're sweating. Are you okay?
I'm fine. We're in the tent, right?
Yes, we're in the tent. It sounds like everyone's getting ready.
And he offers like a hesitant nod for a moment, and his palm comes up and rubs at his eyes and his face and wipes off the sweat that was there. Right. Let's get moving then. I'm gonna deactivate the alarm before we go off so my ears don't get shattered.
Okay.
And Rubin kind of just slips on the helmet and immediately steps out without any further interaction, to get some fresh air.
Got it. Give me just 1 second.
No problem.
Sorry, I'm back now. So yeah, it's morning, and light is not around, and there's no real indication this morning other than everyone is kind of packing up and getting ready to move, I suppose, because you guys are back in Astoria. And so torches are being lit, and people are shouting and calling, and everyone's getting their stuff packed up. And as you emerge from the tent, you see that everyone is just kind of going about like eating small rations and stuff like that.
Rubin seems far more restless and on edge as he emerges from the tent, especially with the possibility of his father being in danger after having some weird
Maybe we
dream
should
with
have kept him on the boat.
a
Sounds to me
mountain
like
of corpses.
sounds to me like your dad did it.
Yeah, but he's more concerned about if he's in danger. He said something's wrong, and so
Rubin's a bad man, bro. He's down with the coups. He's down with sacrificing fucking 50 people. Like, it's time you realize that, Tamacti.
Yeah. All right. Tamacti is going to step out of his tent, assuming that he survived the evening.
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, good. I'm gonna sort of, I guess, get the feel of the camp. Does it look like everybody's packing up, or?
Yeah, and people are like going about morning sort of prayers and stuff like that.
Tamacti will kind of get on. Do people get on their knees when they pray in this world? I don't know.
I think people stand.
Okay. Anyway, Tamacti will say a quick and silent prayer.
They actually lay down supine when they pray.
Okay. Tamacti will plank on the ground and pray to Moriel.
Which I think is funny because at the same time, opposite side, Rubin is also praying.
Oh yeah,
Everyone-
true. Yeah, complete opposite side of the. Yeah.
opposite side of everything, but literally and metaphorically.
So this is we will arrive today or tomorrow. I don't remember how many days into the journey we are. This is like the morning of the second day, right?
Yeah, this is the morning of the second day.
So
It
we
is
arrived.
the morning of the 32nd of Stivos.
We were going to arrive on the third day of the journey. or-
Yeah, so probably like nighttime of the 33rd or morning of the 34th.
Okay.
They said it was a 2-day journey, and it's like,
Yeah.
travel. We have to travel one more day.
Tamacti will just say a prayer, asking for guidance to help him do what he can.
To Moriel, right?
Yes.
Nice.
And the gods are silent. And then he will pack his tent up, and I guess he'll sort of wait for the convoy to start moving out, and then he will do the same.
Okay, sorry, I was just scrolling up through the Grim Hollow documents. I do want to say, I want to have an interaction with you.
Okay.
I need to find the page just so I can double check. Which will
Uh-oh.
take me a moment.
Tamacti will be twiddling his thumbs. Is serpent meat a common breakfast item among these people, or is that more of an evening?
I wouldn't say it's a common breakfast
Okay.
item. It's
Like,
like,
they
if you
like
have it, you know.
serpent flesh bacon strips, I don't they eat breakfast, I assume.
I am gonna come back to you, and you're praying now.
Okay. So they don't eat breakfast?
Shut up. So, you're praying, and you're praying to Moriel, and you're asking him just for guidance, or
Yeah, I suppose, and to also watch over me, as well as sort of the people that I'm going to have to harm to protect. Tamacti knows he's going to have to hurt people, but he hopes that he can hurt them in a way that prevents them from being murdered.
okay. There's a bright flash of light behind you
What?
for a split moment.
Tamacti looks behind him.
You see a figure cast of gold, and they have 3 faces and 3 pairs of wings. And you hear gasping and clattering of things that are being dropped on the ground that might have been carried by other people, and gasping more, and just mumbling stuff, as kind of like all eyes are on you and this figure for a moment.
I raise my eyes to sort of reverently look.
Stand. Stand, please.
Tamacti would stand.
I've heard you the last couple of days. You've been speaking to me.
I have.
What draws you closer to my faith?
I was raised up to the heavens in a time of war, and spent much of my time there during a time of war, but having been cast back down into humanity, I see that war is not the answer anymore. I believe that you see that too.
People have called my domain a few things. Heroism, compassion, martyrdom, love.
They draw in a sharp breath.
I would say that those are right. They are accurate. And so I would ask you, are you someone that fits those words? Are you someone that I can look to uphold them? Would you be heroic when many would cower? Would you show love when the world is full of hatred? Would you give compassion to the downtrodden? And would you give yourself if need be?
I will try. Of that, I make a solemn oath to you. I will try.
Then our conversation is done, and you will prove it to me when the time comes. and there's a flash of light that blinds you, and this figure is gone. And people are just, it's silent, it's dead silent around you. And Tabe walks up. Tamacti?
Yes, Tabe.
What just happened?
I believe that, well, I know that we all witnessed an arch-sheriff. I turn to address the camp of clanspeople. Moriel has visited us. He has made it known that he will be watching how we conduct ourselves here. We would strive to do him proud.
Tabe stands next to you for a while, like still just looking at you. No, I don't think that Moriel came to say that he's watching us, Tamacti. I think that he came to say that he's watching you.
Tamacti would nod.
I think this sighting alone lifts the spirits, and he like gestures around himself, and people are just like, they're in prayer and they're in awe and stuff like that. And you know what you can expect that people in this instance, being the clan that is most focused on the divinities, like this figure appearing, you can imagine how they would respond. It's like a physical beacon that what they're praying to is real, you know? And so he said that when the time comes that you'll have to do something.
I believe that is what he said, yes. Or rather, when the time comes, I must prove that I believe what it is I am asking of him.
Right. Coming away from this, and back over to Rubin.
Hello.
Man, that's going to be tough to follow. All right, give us what you got, Rubin. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I can describe just a little bit of the prayer. It's nothing new, but you know, he probably goes out behind the tents while everyone's packing up, and again, he's quite bewildered, especially so since every time he's drank that, he hasn't had any dreams. It's just been straight through, and he's not supposed to have dreams. And so he steps behind the tents and kneels down. He looks around to see if anyone's watching. Not that he really cares. And then slips off a glove and, you know, pulls out that slithering dagger to slice along one of those scar runes on his palm.
Mm-hmm.
And draws blood. And he presses his palm up to his chest and begins uttering, you know, a small little prayer for not only protection for his father, but also protection for the other two that are among, you know, in what's about to come, you know, Tamacti and Gabriel. Because I think, you know, he believes Vova when he says that something bad's about to happen.
Mm-hmm. I would like you to make for me a, I don't know, a wisdom saving throw or a constitution saving throw. I'll allow you to pick because I can reason them both.
I think I understand what's about to happen. And if he has the urge to cut himself more, he'll do it.
Okay, well, he does.
And then he just does it. You know, he moves on to his wrist next. And
oh my god. Oh my god.
You know, he like rolls back the sleeve of chainmail that's, you know, underneath his plate and slices along that, you know, to let a pool, you know, let it start pooling in front of him. It's nothing he can't heal, you know, so he's not too worried about that. Definitely grimacing as he does so, and, you know, but he's quite used to this sort of process by now, and currently expecting Curel, but
so this blood does pool around like the ground in front of you. But you said you're just kind of like behind some tents.
Yeah,
there are no tents. They've been packed.
Then he's just fucking doing it, dude. I
just
mean,
in the open.
I mean, probably not in the open. He would have gone behind something, but obviously he's not going to wander off into the woods or whatever's around them.
A couple sparse dead trees, but that's it.
Yeah, then he'd just go behind maybe a tree when that had happened.
Vova follows you.
Then Vova sees all of this.
Man, this is whack. A hand reaches up out of the ground there, in the sort of blood that forms. To our listeners, that if you're just now listening to us, if this is your first episode listening to us, go back and listen to some other stuff, because I mean specifically the B-side, if you want some background on this. But so Rubin is a follower of Tormach, and Tormach is like the archdemon of wrath, or war and murder and destruction are their domains. And we'd like to do a little bit of home brewing, and so I homebrewed some stuff up, and there's this kind of demon that transports between pools of blood as his means of transportation, named Kirill. And Kirill said that he would not see the party for some time, that he was going to go looking for something. And so as Rubin is cutting himself and praying to his god, who just wants needless death and delights in bloody violence and sacrifices and bloodshed, a hand reaches up, and it's red and sinew and bony from this puddle of blood that's forming, that's about a foot wide.
Rubin, reaches out. One his kind of wrist now is pressed up against his chest plate to hopefully slow the bleeding now that there's enough. And his other hand reaches out to grab and try and pull up whatever's coming through.
The hand grabs onto yours and tries to pull you into the portal.
Oh, shit.
It's up to you if you resist.
I think it's that he's still trying to pull it up, not necessarily. You know how something might be heavy if it's putting
Make
your
a
weight
strength
on
save.
it. All right. That's my weakness.
A 6. You recognize it as Kirill's hand, and it grabs onto you and pulls your arm into this portal. And as you are pulled into this portal, your head probably pops through it too, like your arm and your head.
Yeah.
All that can get through. And you find yourself it's like the world is flipped upside down, and this portal on the ground is now your head and your arm are sticking out of what is the ground in wherever you are now. And it's just a realm of fire and blood and swaying bodies and skeletons and torture and all of it, just all around as far as the eyes can see, and tall, dry, dusty mountains in the distance with rivers of blood flowing down them, and just mud-caked ground, like dirt just mixed with so much mud so much blood that it's turned into a muddy sort of consistency. And Kirill looks at you and,
Rubin, it's nice to see you. The Lord is pleased with your prayer, by the way.
And it takes a good moment for Rubin to respond, as he's halfway through this portal, looking around at this apocalyptic scene. I'm sure he's heard descriptions of something similar in readings of sacred text or some shit.
mm-hmm.
But seeing it is a whole different thing. He's where are we?
Yes, you're, well, welcome to my home, Rubin. This is where, stuff happens. Things. My hobbies, pleasures.
And he offers a slow little nod.
I have something for you. I've been looking for it, and I finally found it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, you should be, because it's yours now.
And he reaches kind of into a sack that's tied to his waist, like a small sack, and actually just grabs the sack itself and stuffs it into your hand.
You'll be wanting this. I just didn't want to make a scene up there where you are. It looks like you're surrounded by people.
Yes. I am. And he looks down to now what was in his hand that Kirill put.
It's a sack.
Oh, it's just a sack? Okay.
What is this? What's in the sack?
Ah, yes. Well, that's for you to open the sack and find out. But it was made by the master himself.
And he nods once more.
Remember, Rubin, light the fire, sink the stars.
And he tries to push you back up, or back down into the, like, what is the floor for him, like shoving you.
Yeah, and I guess he's just shoved right back through. He wasn't in a position to resist. He's just so out of his element, I think. He's never been through this to see what the other side is, and hearing that now he's received a gift from God, essentially, he's just at a complete loss for what to think, and suddenly pushed straight back through onto the other side.
Rubin, are you okay?
And quickly, Rubin
What-
kind of looks around to see.
What magic is that? I have not seen that before.
What? Oh. Right. Sangromancy.
That was sangromancy, is what you would tell me and want me to believe. No, that is not sangromancy. So what is it?
And, he stares for another moment.
Then perhaps it is a power beyond me. If not sangromancy.
We're going to speak of this later. I'm going to find out everything. You'll tell me. Because we're friends now, right?
Right.
And he looks down immediately to his wrist, which has been sliced open in his palm. And before he continues this conversation, gonna do a little bit of... I don't know, let me roll an attack on myself.
Subdue. Not bad. Like, great, not terrible.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cure wounds it. Or not cure wounds, lay on hands. Would that be enough?
Yeah, but I'd say you probably took twice that amount of damage. So you rolled a 1d4, you
So
took 3, I'd
6.
say 6.
Okay. Then I will expend 6 of my lay on hands points to heal myself again, up to full. And he presses his palm against his wrist quickly, and that sort of weird, radiant red energy glows out, and he winces and grunts a little as it's closing back up, and finally is able to staunch the bleeding before he looks back to Vova, and then further around to see if there was anyone else just standing there.
Oh, I would say probably not, no. Everyone's kind of going about their business, getting things all situated and ready to move.
So he just lifts to his feet. That
Yes, and discussion for later.
So then what's the sack?
I don't exactly know myself.
Well then open it.
I'll admit I'm hesitant to open it here.
Why?
he sits and stares at it for a moment, and then just shakes his head a little and goes to open it to see what's inside.
It's like a sack with like a little string cloth.
Oh, okay,
or a
yeah,
string,
he like
kinda tie
pulls
around the-
pulls at the string and undoes the knot, and then pulls the sack apart to peer in.
And as you look at it, it's like you've seen the Hobbit movies, right?
Yeah.
When Bilbo Baggins is in like Smaug's sort of mountain kind of dwarven lair thing, and he puts on the ring, and he like, it's like the sense of euphoria, and he hears like the whispering and everything like all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that sort of effect happens where you hear just like whispering and you're looking at it, it's almost like mesmerizing what you're looking at. You see a bladed fighting chain that has at the end of it a small like kind of morning star that has 5 points that come off from it. 1, 2, yeah, 5 points. So like one that comes at a sort of slight downward angle from the base of it, at each cardinal direction. Like if you were looking at it like a compass, and then one that comes out of the top, and you hear the words like echo in your mind.
Light the fire. Seek the stars.
And it's in a voice that you've never heard before. And as you do that, odd timing, Strider. But as you do that, I think that's where we're gonna end this session. It's a bit of an odd sort of ending place, but I know that if we get into this day, I'm gonna want to go for like another hour and a half, and my throat is just. So yeah, that's where we're gonna end this session. Like we said, we are on all social media. Well, I say all the social media that we're on, which would sound stupid if I said that. So we're on all the social media that we're on, which is Twitter, Instagram. Go follow us on both of those. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you want. You can find our podcasts like on any podcast platform pretty much. I have allergies right now. My throat is really dry and scratchy, and so it's kind of hard to talk. But the show must go on, as we all know. And so yeah, go follow us, go subscribe to us, join our Discord, come hang out, be part of the conversation, and that's where you'll get the giveaway details. So if you want to win a hard copy of the Grim Hollow campaign guide, which we use for this campaign setting, by Ghostfire Gaming, then please head to our Discord, check out the details, and get yourself in that giveaway. We'd be happy to get you hooked up. Other than that, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. So we will catch you guys next time. And remember, never split the party. Thanks for being here. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.